So it's just ticked over to the top of the hour. I welcome you all. Thank you so much for joining me for this hour and a half practice, this little gentle celebration of the Imbolc season. So Imbolc is a celebration of just the first sparks of the new year. Those of you who have been in the garden today might have seen the crocuses, maybe a few snowdrops. You might have even seen some lambs out in the fields. So it's just those little nods, those little sparks of the quickening of the year, the new life that's coming. And it's not spring yet. It's still technically winter, so it's still a time to be restful and easeful. But it's a lovely opportunity just to acknowledge this time. And we'll be working with just a few little extracts from the book, which is the good book. Here it is. And I'll just be reading a few extracts through our practice, just to kind of help me explain to you best I can how there's a little bit of magic in taking a practice such as yoga and kind of weaving in perhaps some of our own roots, our own heritage of Celtic, Norse, Anglo-Saxon, and indeed any other roots and ancestry that you have that you want to bring into the practice. We can blend them together, and there's a little magic in that. So what we'll do to start our easeful practice today is we're just going to lay down upon the ground. So take your time. If you want to bring cushions under your head, if you want to bring support under the knees, you can bring in anything, everything that is going to help you feel most restful, most calm, and just to help prepare ourselves to seek as much ease as we can through our practice. Beautiful. So you might want to close the eyes, you might want to just let the gaze be soft. Our physical asana, our yoga practice today will be very ground-based. It'll be very familiar to those of you who practice yoga with me regularly. Just a very restful and easeful practice. We settle upon the earth. Here in Imbolc, those first sparks of the year are visible, but the season is still winter. We are still in a time of winter, a place of peace, of stillness, of reflection. And that energy will be reflected in our practice and our meditation today. Within this practice of yoga, we seek connection. Connection with body, breath, mind. But through this idea of simple ritual, simple ceremony to note the changing of the seasons, we can find a connection to the earth, the seasons, forging these beautiful links with the energy around us. Like a seed in the earth. We are still within the ground. The the still darkness and stillness. And it might be that we begin to feel the body settle and relax. And while we'll work through ideas in our practice to connect to the season and a little bit of myth and magic and folklore, all we do right now is just take some time to connect to ourselves. Connect to your body as you allow it to settle and relax. You might connect to the breath as it slows and calms. Maybe we allow the mind to settle a little as we let any busy thoughts, any to-do lists for tomorrow, just drift away. We are just at the very beginning of our journey. So here is simply a time to bring that attention and intention into the sense of settling and calming to begin our journey upon the earth. If you've just joined us, we're just laying down upon the earth. So you've just arrived in the practice. I'm just going to lay down. We'll just take a few breaths so that we can all meet in this place upon the ground. And then from our restful place upon the earth, what we'll do is we'll gently soften the knees and pop the soles of the feet on the floor. Some of you may be here already, that's fine. So we've got soft hips and soft knees. This just allows the spine, especially the low back, to really settle into the earth. And we'll take a couple of breaths here. This is a pose within itself. It's known as the undoing pose. Incredibly simple. Just invites that lovely idea that our practice can be as easeful, as simple as we want it to be. And then from here, what we'll do is we're just going to roll to our comfortable side. So we're going to come into the recovery position, you may know this as. And this is where those cushions are going to come in handy. So you might want a cushion or two underneath the head. You might just want to bring your arm under your head. You can bring the blankets if you want to coat yourself in a lovely blanket and be really cozy. We're going to settle here, so take your time. You can pick either side to start. We'll do both sides in the end. Beautiful. So we're settled into the recovery pose. Now this pose is also known as the fetal pose or the fetus pose. So we have this little tiny baby, this little spark of life here, which brings us perfectly to the story of the goddess in the wheel of the year. Here at Imbolc are these first sparks. Brigid is in her maiden form. We call her bridie. She is young, she is enthusiastic, she is filled with energy of new life. So we might envisage her as a baby or a toddler, full of energy and inquisitive. And there's this beautiful imagery and mythology of, as we move through the year, as we move around the wheel of the year, that the goddess grows, she learns, she becomes wise and beautiful. And we roll all the way through the year until we return back to winter, where she's in her crone form. So she is a wise old woman. And then as we cross over Yule and midwinter, the goddess is reborn. And we can really embody that imagery here as we move from that settled place upon the earth. When we lay upon the ground in yoga, that shavasana, that is the pose of the corpse, the idea of settling and letting go into the earth. And then here, fetal pose, it's as though we're being ever so gently reborn, just like the year is being reborn. It's also a very nurturing and gentle pose. It can help us feel calm and safe, supported. It's just a really nice place, again, to find ease, to find restfulness. Just to give ourselves time, there's no rush. We've seen those first green shoots, but the earth is in no hurry to move into spring. It'll move in exactly its own time. So whatever side you're currently resting on, we're going to move that fetus or fetal pose over to the other side now. So you can just gently do a little scoot. We might kind of roll onto our backs and then take it over to the other side. And again, there's no rush, so take your time to shuffle over in any way you like. Again, cushions for the head. Within each gentle new pose, there is that opportunity just to breathe, To find a little peace within every pose, there is just a chance to pause and to be. The wheel of the year is always turning, but it is a pace of nature. So often we are moving at a very fast pace, the pace of cars and of email and text messages, things that move very, very quickly. Simply by reconnecting to this slower pace of nature, of the wheel of the year, of the easeful and unhurried rhythm of our own breath, our calm heartbeat. There is a very gentle, everyday magic of finding these easeful rhythms, of connecting to this gentler pace. If you're ready, we're going to move from a place upon the earth. We're going to rise up to an easy. So take your time, no rush, no hurry. We'll come into a cross-legged position if that's comfortable. Feel free to sit on cushions or blankets. I'll give you a moment to get settled. I just see the latecomers contemplating me, so just let them in. So we come to our easy seat. Our sit bones are settled upon the earth. We're running into the ground. And from here, we're just thinking about this gentle lift through our spine. That idea, just like a little new crocus or snowdrop, our little buds, our little leaves are shining up towards the sky. So there's this sense of gentle lift through our center. And we're just going to breathe here for a moment. So if you'd like to close the eyes, you're welcome to do so. Just let the gaze wander, be soft. The element connected to winter is, as you might imagine, the earth. As animals come to ground and plants are dormant in the ground. So there's this sense that we can settle into the earth. But in our yoga practice, we also think of the earth as our earth chakra, our root chakra that connects us to the ground. So we ourselves can connect to the earth and connect to our roots. This sense of grounding can help us in that process of growth, of rising, or even when we're just restful in our easeful seat. And then from our lovely, we've got the eyes closed, we'll gently open. What we'll do is we'll move into a pose we call the cow face pose. We'll take it slow, you'll get too muddled hopefully. So what we'll do, I'll mirror you. We're going to bring the sole of the left foot to the earth, so the knee is pointing up towards the sky. From here, we're going to scoot the right foot underneath that little triangle of the leg. And the heel is coming to that outer hip. From here, that top leg is now going to cross over the bottom. Again, bringing the heel to the hip. Beautiful. So for some of us, just sitting like this is enough of a challenge. We might feel it within the hips here. So we'll just take our time. Have a little shuffle around. You can bring support if you need to bring cushions underneath the hips so you can settle. The story goes that we are creating the shape of a cow's head with this pose. So our knees stacked on top of each other are the cow's nose, and then our feet as they come out of the cow's ears. So if that helps you visualize it, that can be useful. We're creating that little cow shape. And it might be that we just rest the hands on the earth or on our feet and we just take some breaths here. If this feels strong already, then we'll just take some breaths. Or if you want to, you can hinge from the hips and just put the hands forward. We're bringing the heart down almost to rest upon that knee into a little gentle fold, and we can let the head be restful. So two lovely versions of this pose. There's nothing that you have to do. So if it all feels very strong, you can just take a breath and take a rest. If you're happy with the fold, feel free just to sink in. It's beautiful how there are these themes that seem to carry through every culture in the world, and the idea of the cow being sacred is one of them. So in Hindu and yogic philosophy, the cow is sacred as a symbol of abundance and deity. So we have several yoga poses that are connected to the word cow. And then when we think of the wheel of the year and our Celtic goddess Brigid and Brigid, the story goes that when Brigid was born, she was fed milk from a fairy cow, and the fairies abound in ancient Ireland. So she was fed milk from the fairy cow, added to her magical skills. She was already a goddess, so she already had quite a few skills to begin with, but the Fae blessed her with abilities of healing and wise words. You're hinged forwards in that fold. We'll gently rise up. And what we'll do is we'll just kind of unravel the legs. And if you want to kind of straighten them out and give them a little wiggle, feel free to do so. So take a little moment if you want to have a little unravel with the legs. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So we create that little triangle first with the sole of the foot on the floor. And then we thread the foot underneath that little triangle to bring the heel to the outside of the hip. And then we do the same with the leg on top. So we are aiming to stack the knees on top of each other. It doesn't always quite work that way. We might find that that top leg's a lot further forwards. Doesn't matter, we're just working towards it. Nothing has to be perfect. So we're creating again that cow face with the legs. So we're envisaging that fairy cow, and what a fairy cow might look like. I imagine it's very beautiful. And again, you can stay seated, or we can hinge from the hips and we can come into the fold. Again, take your time, see what works best for you. Taking that time, just settle, find a little peacefulness within the pose. We'll take a little longer here. But you can unravel, you can pause if you want to. And then once again, if you're hinged forwards right now, you'll gently rise. We'll unravel the legs, we'll unthread them. And once again, just extend the legs out for a moment. You might want to give them a little wiggle, whatever feels nice. And then what we're going to do from here is we're going to come into a wide leg pose. So we're seated on the ground, we're going to take the legs wide. This is just what feels wide for you, so you can have the legs as narrow as you like. You can have softness in the knees, so take your time, whatever feels appropriate and comfortable. And we're just going to come into a fold here, so with the sit bones rooted in the air, nice and tall through the torso, we're just going to hinge your hips, and we'll walk or slide the hands forward. And let the head hang heavy. Now it doesn't matter if this is just a little tilt forwards, we let the head go, that's fine. You can feel it and you are doing it. It doesn't matter how far you fold. Finding our version, our place. Just to settle and breathe. We'll take a few more breaths here if that's comfortable. And when you're ready, you'll just gently rise through head and heart. So just coming back upright. Beautiful. So from here, what we'll do is we're going to scoop the knees in, and we're going to journey to a tabletop position. So take your time. You can bring padding under the knees if you like, whatever's going to help you feel most comfortable. And from all fours, we're just going to roll through a few cat and cow movements. On the inhale, we flex the spine in, tailbone and crown shine to the sky. That's the cow. And then on the exhale, we flex the spine out, tailbone and crown shine to the earth. That's the cat. We inhale, flexing inwards. The exhale, flexing outwards. We're just going to roll through with our breath, so you can move slowly, as gently as you like. Another pose with that sacred cow imagery. The cow in many cultures, from Celtic, Hindu and yogic, back to ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, represents abundance, caring, nurturing and nourishing. All beautiful words to support the theme of our practice. Let's take one more lovely flexion outwards with the spine on the exhale and flexion inwards on the inhale. And just when you're ready, we'll come back to a neutral spine. So just coming back to that tabletop position. From here, we're going to move into the puppy dog. With our hips directly above our knees, we're just going to slide the hands forward. And we're either going to rest the forehead or heart and chin upon the earth. Heart and chin is a lot stronger on the shoulders and the arm. You can also have the arms straight, or you can have a real nice softness in the elbows, so that feels more restful for the pose. So we look like a little door wedge shape here, a little triangle shape. Gently opening our heart, our chest towards the earth. Beautiful. And take your time to breathe. Connection with the earth. And what we're going to do from the puppy dog pose is we're just going to journey straight back into child's pose. You can either just drop your bum back onto the hips, resting forehead on earth, with option to take the knees wider if that's more comfortable for you. Or you might want to rise out of the puppy dog and take your time to come into your favourite kind of child's pose. For some of us, we might want to have cushions or bolsters underneath us, so you can bring in your props as you please. And we'll just journey to the child's pose, or child's pose of choice. And step in. Again, taking your time. There is no rush. There is no hurry. Beautiful child's pose. And that imagery of rebirth, of maybe briding, as lambs leaping in the field. That life, new life, new spot. We talk of grounding often in yoga practice, this idea of finding that connection with the earth. You may see it as an opportunity as well to connect to the element of earth and the correspondence thereof. But grounding to me also reminds me of when we ground electricity, we send that excess energy into the earth. Just sometimes when we feel our head is just so full of thoughts, maybe we envisage that we're just sending a little of that excess energy or those busy thoughts, just letting them run into the earth, running off those little excess thoughts, that excess energy, that excess busyness of the mind. We're just going to take a few more breaths here in the child's pose, but you can move, you can unravel if you want to. Just take a few more breaths wherever we wish to be. When you're ready, we'll just gently bring the hands under the shoulders so we can lift up your head. And then what we'll do from here is we're going to come back to it. So the bum comes back to the earth. The legs around and long in front of us. So we look a little bit like an L shape. Sit bones rooted in the earth. All through the torso. We're going to hinge from our hips so we can slide or walk the hands forward. And then hands rest on the legs. Take your time to settle. From our forward fold, we'll rise up through the body. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. The knees are going to come out either side like a butterfly. We can bring our hands to ankles, feet, or toes, whatever feels comfortable. Once again, that idea of the roots running into the earth and rising tall through the spine. We might also think about sending our knees down towards the earth as well as we really open through the hips. And then just if you want to, you can hinge from the hips and draw the heart down towards the toes and let the head remain heavy. If that feels too much, too strong, then you can stay upright and work with the hips. Two lovely versions of the same pose. You can play with both, see which one you like best. If you're hinged forwards in the fold, we'll rise up. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to come to a reclining version of this pose. So once again, we can bring in the cushions, and the place I like to put the cushions is just at the back of the heart, so where the shoulder blades are. If you prefer not to have cushions, of course you don't need them. You might have cushions, you might have a bolster, whatever feels sensible. We check that there's space behind us to lay back, of course, so we can safely lay back and gently let the arms fall wide, and we might let the head fall back past. We're really getting a sense of opening through the heart and the shoulders. If that feels too much, again, you can get rid of the cushion. So this is just an idea, a place to be where we can open through the hips, we can open through the heart and the chest. A lovely place to really get a sense of that expanding breath. And forward breath. And we'll just take our time to settle here into this beautiful reclining pose. It's a passive pose as well, so once we're kind of settled in, we can just relax, we can just settle into this place, allow gravity to do the work. So take your time. So this pose, sometimes known as the Reclining Butterfly, but it's also known to some as the Reclining Goddess, and of course that's my favourite name for it, to be settle and sink into our place. Feeling that beautiful expansion of hips, and belly and heart and breath. Beautiful. We may find inspiration in this idea of the maiden goddesses, the goddesses of springtime beginning to unfurl in the season. We might take inspiration from what's happening in nature, the flowers, the plants. Maybe the birds are beginning to spring to life with their song and gathering for their nests. You see the lambs sleeping in the fields. And all of these images just to help us find our connection and inspiration to what can be a very beautiful energy of the season. To feel that sense of the quickening of the year happening around us, even when we are still and easeful and calm. The embers of the year are glowing. The sparks are beginning to light. The festival of Imbolc, also known as St Brigid's Day, for our goddess Brigid, who was made a saint. She was so popular. But also Candlemas, which is the Christian name for the festival. Whatever our belief systems, whatever our religion, this is a time of growing light, and we can all find a little hope and light and peace within that. So my darling ones, from here, we're just going to stretch out into a long line. So we're just going to send the legs long along the ground and the arms long overhead. So we're just having this lovely long stretch through the body. You might want to wiggle or flex fingers and toes. You might want to send the arms wide and the legs wide like a starfish. Whatever feels nice for you, just to have a lovely expansion through the body. Have a little wiggle if you like. From this lovely place of finding space, when you feel ready, we'll gently bring our arms back alongside the body. And when you feel ready to do so, we'll just gently bend the knees, soles of the feet on the floor. We'll gently roll to one side, that little fetus pose once more. And when you are ready, you will rise to an easy seat. You can sit on cushions, you can have blankets around you. We're just going to take a little moment with an idea of the sparks of our energy, sparks of the year and season. There are 4 Celtic fire festivals as we roll through the year. Imbolc is the first. The next 3 will be the themes of our next 3 workshops. But in just a little acknowledgement of this first fire festival of the year, when our Celtic ancestors would have lit great bonfires to bring the light, to bring the warmth, to mimic in sympathetic magic what we want the sun to do, which is rise and be beautiful and bright. I'll invite you now, if you wish to, we are going to light a candle together. So if you have a candle and something to light it with nearby, you can take a moment to gather it here. If you don't, it doesn't matter. I appreciate many of us are still on lockdown, so not everyone has things nearby, or we might just be restful, so don't worry. But I'm just, if you wish, we can take our candle and my not very romantic lighter. And a little charm that I know some of the priestesses present will know is that we say heart to heart, flame to flame. We are connecting our flames and our energy by being present together. So together, if you wish, we can say heart to heart, flame to flame. Heart to heart, flame to flame. Heart to heart, flame to flame. So with our beautiful little candles, if there is somewhere safe that you can put it, I can see them, how beautiful. I see them. How lovely. Let's just take a picture. We are separated, but we are together. We will have the little lights, our embers, our spirit. Our ancient ancestors might have seen a goddess within these flames. They might have seen the hope of a new year. Sort of seeing light and nourishment and joy. And just can be all of those things to us if we wish. So if it is safe to do so, we will place our candle somewhere, watch over us in our meditation time. If that's not appropriate, if it's not safe, of course you can just with love blow out your candle. We can place it somewhere. So with that in mind, we're going to journey from our physical yoga practice into our meditation time now. There is no rush. Give yourself time to place your candle somewhere you would like to place it. Give yourself time to perhaps lay down upon the ground, maybe wrap yourself in blankets. We're going to be in meditation for about 20 minutes. So you can be seated if you want, of course, but many people will find that for 20 minutes it's actually easier and more restful to be laying upon the ground. I will leave it absolutely up to you wherever you wish to take your meditation. You may find that place. I will. Light. So take your time. No rush, no hurry. We may have cushions, blankets, props. You might want to take a pause to get yourself a drink. Whatever feels appropriate for you. It can be a lovely thing to hear the stories of the goddesses, to read about them in books. But there's also something quite special about connecting to a little that goddess and this new energy within meditation. There's more of a chance just to feel that energy rather than need to study or remember anything. As we find our settled place upon the earth, we might close the eye or let the gaze be soft. Behind the closed eyes, we might be aware of the flicker, the warmth of that candle. That light, that warmth. feel surrounded and a little of that light and warmth now as we settle into our restful place. And as a glow, as a light, perhaps we just have a little sense of warmth and light gently shining upon our toes and our feet and our ankles as they rest and settle into their place on the earth. And this shining light rises up through the legs and the knees and the kneecaps. They soften and settle as well. And this glow, this light shines up over our hips, belly, soft and calm. Over our chest and heart. They move, those gentle sparks of breath and heartbeat. Light shines from the shoulders, down the arms, all the way to the tips. Fingers off, warm and restful. And finally, that light shines up through your neck and the muscles of your jaw and your face, and the very top of the head. As our whole body basks, this gentle warmth, this gentle light. Amongst this feeling of relaxation, of calm, of safety in this space, perhaps in our mind's eye, we might imagine those first plants we may see at Imbolc on St Brigid's Day, at Candlemas. Perhaps the purple and yellow crocuses, maybe the white snowdrop, maybe the first few plumes of daffodils, maybe even little green buds upon trees. We will envisage a plant, perhaps one that we have seen recently, or one that is our favourite in this season. And we will imagine that we are a seed of that plant. And as a seed, we find ourselves in the earth. We might have been placed here by human hands or carried on the breath of the wind. But as your seed self, you have been resting within the earth, taking your time until conditions were right for you to begin your cycle of growth. Your seed self senses the days growing longer, the sun rising a little earlier and setting a little later. Maybe you even hear humans above you talking at the quickening of the year, of the goddess Brigid casting her green cloak over the land as the snows melt and the frosts subside. You know that the time is nearing for you to wake up and grow into your plant. You begin taking in what you need for your growth, your journey. You drink in moisture from the earth, draw in all that nourishes you. You take in just what you need. You know the things that nourish you, that will give you strength. You develop roots that travel down deeper into the earth, both to anchor you and to search for what you need to continue your growth, finding your connections, drawing in your nourishment. And from these roots you begin to expand upwards, responding to the light and warmth of the sun. You ascend up and out your fur, breathing into the air. More warmth and more light from the sun pulls you up and out into growth. More water and more nutrients from the earth, and you grow and create more leaves and deeper roots. conditions around you continue to nurture you. You and your environment continue this weaving down, taking in and expanding out, breathing in and breathing out as you continue to unfold, unfurl, and become exactly who you are. As your leaves unfurl into the light, you can see the world now. Maybe you see fellow flowers or plants. Maybe you see trees gently swaying in the breeze. Maybe you see beams of sunlight shining upon the earth. Maybe today these sunbeams are the goddess. You might see her in the sparkling light of the February sun. You might see her as blossoms or blooms in new land, with singing birds. Maybe she stands before you as her goddess self, bringing you love and hope in this new season. A blessing for Imbolc. May you find the balance you desire and need. Light and dark, spirit and body, mind and soul. May you bask in the gradual power of rebirth happening around you and happening within you. May you awaken to the potential and the blossoming of your own self. And like the songbirds, may you always find your way home. And so, my beautiful seeds, my beautiful flowers, my beautiful animals. Perhaps the next inhale is just a little longer, a little deeper than the last. Perhaps you wiggle fingers and toes, or make any luxurious twist or stretch or wiggle that feels nice for you as we begin to luxuriously bring our awareness back to the room and back to our day. If you are laying upon the ground, there is no rush. We'll gently bend the knees and pop the soles of the feet on the floor. And we'll roll once again into that little recovery pose. So just stop on our side and we'll just take a couple of breaths here. And just when you feel ready, we'll rise up back to our easy seat. And you can bring the blankets with you. You keep the eyes closed a little longer if you wish. There is no rush. It doesn't matter what way you're facing, what position. Right? We're just gonna be seated. We'll take a final minute or two here. This is just a little opportunity to sit with that sense of calm and ease and light that we've nurtured and nourished in our practice. We carry it gently from laying to seated and hopefully into the rest of our day and season as well. Every festival, every point along the end of the year is a little special liminal space, a little crossing over time for magic. But as we come to the end of our practice today and back to our day-to-day lives, it's another little liminal space. And it can be a beautiful time just to send a little love and gratitude. And it's always best to start within, so maybe we send some love and gratitude to our bodies, our breath, our hearts and minds that have allowed us to practice our yoga today. And then our love and gratitude might shine out to our warm homes, comfortable blankets. And then it can shine out further into the natural world as we feel love and gratitude for this new month, this new season. And you can just allow the sparks of anything that you feel grateful for or excitement for, whether that's a hot cup of tea in your near future or some time spent outside or with loved ones. So you can just allow the little sparks to rise up and they can just float into heart and mind. And then just to finish our practice, let's take a nice deep inhale. Let's reach our branches, our leaves all the way up to the sky. Let's bring the palms together and exhale the hands to heart center in prayer. From here, we can gently open the eyes if they're closed. And to ourselves and each other, we say Namaste. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. Blessed be, darling ones, and a happy and joyful Imbolc to you. I hope that the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and the rest of your February is one of light and warmth and of joy.